Welcome. What a special, special day we have. I have the privilege of serving as the Chief Development Officer here at Inspira. My name is Jess Cowell. You know, it's days like today when I am reminded how special my job is. I truly, truly love my job. And I would argue that I probably have one of the best jobs. I'm a proud mom of a 5-year-old and a 7-year-old. And my girls, like most kids, often ask mommy what she does for a living. It's kind of difficult to describe philanthropy to them in a way that their young minds can understand. But as I look around the room today, it is very clear to me what philanthropy is. And as we celebrate our dear friend, Dr. George, we see the power of philanthropy, the investment, the profound impact, and the inspiration that it has given to all of us. It is my pleasure to introduce our President and CEO, John D'Angelo.
As I said the other night, Jess is very good at giving me talking points, and then she takes them all anyway. She says them, but I would tell you we've been at this for a long time. And when we got to the point of the capital campaign, it just seemed obvious for us to go talk to Jim and say, "You've done this a number of times. What do we need to do?" And in his calm and inimitable way, he laid out what we needed to do. And we went from consultants who told us we couldn't raise $14 million to setting a goal of $20 million, which none of us were real sure we could get to actually getting to $23 million. And I can tell you, this man, besides being very generous to us, twisted a lot of arms for us. He made sure that people he thought that should be giving to the campaign gave to the campaign. And he brought a lot of his minions with him in getting that done. So, and what I can say most about Jim is he really cares about what happens at Inspira. He will always be looking out for that next thing that we should be looking at. And he always tells me in a nice way, "You ought to be looking at this." But most of the time, what he's telling me is correct. And so it is an honor for us to be able to have his paintings and his representations hanging in the ER that will be there for forever. And that, when you think about it, is really amazing. Now, they told me you painted the picture of yourself, but I figured that was pushing it a little bit.
That's true. I didn't.
This is the first, I guess, of 3 events that we have going on today. And as I have told our folks, I am getting a little fatigued of partying. I would like to see some patience in this place, and that will happen soon. But please enjoy yourself, enjoy the day, and please take a tour if you haven't seen it yet. It's absolutely magnificent. Jim, thank you.
Thank you, John. It is now my pleasure to introduce Dr. James Bonner.
I'm one of the minions. In case there was any confusion. So, Jim George, Detroit, Michigan, the Motor City, Motown. Had a band. He was the drummer. The name of the band was Jim George and the Playboys. You've never heard of it, have you? His father coached him out of that career and sent him to Columbia to study. And then to Louisville, where his father wanted him to go to medical school. The rebellious son wanted to go to law school. So he went to medical school in the daytime, and he went to law school at night. He graduated the same day. He got his MD and his JD the same day from Louisville. Now, that's a southern school, so I don't know if you have to go to class. But so He began the practice of medicine and law. He wrote the first text on law and emergency medicine in the Library of Congress. 19 what?
I forget.
Okay. See, since the head injury, he gets away with that a lot more. For years, he had a firm, George and Corin, which did med-mal defense work, right? And we, together, for 2 decades, published the Emergency Physician Legal Bulletin, which educated the national emergency medicine audience on law and emergency medicine. But his real lasting accomplishment, besides his family and the minions, is he built Emergency Physician Associates, and he founded, one of the 5 founders of Team Health National. Along this journey, he became interested in the Caribbean, particularly Cayman. That's a financial place, right? So he's never answered me if that's why he actually went there. But it's warm, the water is gorgeous, and there's bright colors. Somewhere in there that triggered his interest in color. I'm not sure how that happened, but it did. So continue fast forwarding, and he buys the house across the street with him, otherwise known as the man cave, builds an art studio downstairs, and then June 8th of 16 decides he wants to do some deep research on being a patient, and falls and is injured. So he came back to us from that, and the art was still a passion. However, when he started this project, he was a righty. Now he's a lefty. And all the artwork that you see him accomplish, he has done with his non-dominant hand prior to the injury, right? It's unbelievable. So you go back to the days as a drummer, and he was ambidextrous, otherwise known as amphibious in some circles. So we are proud of this Renaissance man. He's Dr. James George, MD, JD, artiste. Dr. George.
Dr. Bonner never fails at his skill set of master of ceremonies and introductions. Jimmy, thank you.
You're welcome.
I love you. You know that.
I love you.
I respect you and your family, and I've been blessed to have you as a friend and ally for all these years and for many more years to come. So it is mentally overwhelming today, and all of the events leading up to today. And as John alluded to, I think the team is getting celebration fatigue, and this will be one of the culminating days of celebration, because it does wear you down a little bit, but it's a sunny day, a little chilly, but sunny, and we're inside, and all that's good. So along the way, I had to hit myself in the head to develop a deep appreciation of art. And I still don't understand that, in all honesty. It's a very surreal experience for me. And but I can't stop painting, and I'll continue until I can't. And I hope that never comes. So the last preliminary comment, and I thought I'd only talk for a couple minutes, but so forgive me, Jess. But this building, this campus, and what may yet be developed on this campus is an overwhelming thing in and of itself, John, you know? And I want to credit John and all of the senior management team and the administrative staffs and the physician staffs and nursing staffs, everybody who's been a part of this project. This is a miraculous building. It really is. And the energy is extraordinarily positive. Everybody in Woodbury who's been through the building is overwhelmed and excited to come to work here. And you can't create that. That magic comes from supernatural sources, and it's here in this building and these people. So we're also excited and motivated by that feeling. So we're proud to be a part of this. Now I want to just paint a few more pictures about the George family. With me physically today is my son Jim, and my uncle Fred, and my niece Lisa George. And I will tell you that, and before I tell you that, I want to acknowledge a couple other folks. First, Bob Flacco, who's the cameraman to my immediate right. Bob? And John Tomasello, where are you, John? He's over. Raise that hand. John Tomasello. And these two gentlemen make sure I get to point A and then B and C. They drive me around. They put up with a special gift I have, and that is I'm a certified backseat driver. Don't ask my wife, Mary, about that, because it irritates the hell out of her. But these two gentlemen tolerate that with grace and accept whatever wisdom I offer to them from the back seat of the van. So I deeply appreciate these guys, and they help me with my painting. I'll take credit for the colors and the strokes and the style and whatever, but they're responsible for getting the excess paint off the spatula and off the brush and keeping the room orderly so we know what the hell we did yesterday. And that's an essential part, right, Peter? Yeah, we need support teams around us. So to get back to that, Uncle Fred is the youngest of 12 children. My father, Jim, was the oldest of 12 children. 6 brothers and 6 sisters. They grew up in New Kensington, Pennsylvania, which is 20 miles from Pittsburgh, in a poor community, and they didn't have indoor plumbing until they moved into a house with indoor plumbing. But they had a lot of love and a lot of discipline. And the older siblings looked after the younger siblings, and these were the loving uncles and aunts that I and my family had the pleasure of growing up with. And my son Jim, who's with me, Jim, where are you? All right, come on over here and let's give Jimmy a round of applause. Because I couldn't do what I do without Jimmy. He's been with me from the first time of the fall and through everything after that. And he will give you further testament that I am a backseat driver. So, having said that, Uncle Fred, everybody except for the girls, and I say that respectfully with the ladies in the room, because it wasn't fashionable back in the 20s and 30s for women to have an opportunity to go to college. But all of the brothers went to college, became engineers. Fred was the only physician in the family, and they all served admirably in the military and with honorable discharges. So Uncle Fred was the first doctor, and my father encouraged Fred to go to medical school. Fred received a football scholarship to play football at Washington and Lee University in Virginia. And he was only 175 pounds, but he was mean as hell. And in those days, they played offense and defense. And Fred played admirably at both positions. He was a lineman and played 4 years of varsity football. They went to the Alligator Bowl in 1951, and they lost to Wyoming because their fullback had appendicitis the night before the game and couldn't play. And he was a force of nature. I think they would have won if he had played. So Uncle Fred served in the Navy. He came to practice orthopedic surgery in Woodbury, New Jersey with Warner Bundens, who is David Bunden's father. And I had the pleasure of being around long enough to know Warner and know many of the senior physicians who were members of the medical staff at Underwood Memorial Hospital. So Fred has practiced orthopedic surgery for 53 years until his retirement in when the hell did he retire? Not long ago. And every other time I see Fred, he rues the day he retired. And he was in his late 70s at the time. Fred has recently celebrated his 90th birthday. He's my hero. And I'm so glad that you're here, Fred, to be with us today.
Thank you.
You want to say anything?
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here. I think Jim said it all, and there's nothing more to say. We did it all. We tried hard, and we practiced good medicine, and I think that it worked out well for all of us. Thank you, Jim.
Thank you, Fred. And no political comments today, but for Fred has said, and our parentage is Lebanese. And Fred has on many occasions said to me, I'm glad my father made the trip. So I reflect on that from time to time. So what the heck am I going to say next? Well, we have with us, we invited, and she graciously accepted, the painter who's become a friend of mine and a mentor, Natalie Italiano, who did the portrait of me. Natalie, where are you?
Thank you. I hope no one minds. I wrote down what I wanted to say in anticipation of being nervous. So it's a great honor for me to be here today to celebrate the opening of this amazing medical center. And I'd like to thank Dr. James George, gifted physician, visionary, and talented artist, for the opportunity to paint his portrait. From the first time I met Dr. George, I was deeply impressed by him, not only by his lifetime of accomplishments and his generosity, but also that when he was tested in the most challenging way, his measure was this. Not only did he meet those challenges in ways few of us could match, he triumphed far beyond them. And the proof is in Dr. George himself, in this incredible medical center, and in his beautiful paintings surrounding us. It's my humble wish that through my portrait of Dr. George, I was able to bear witness to a great man and to express some essence of his magnificent character. Thank you.
Thank you, Natalie, so much. And if anybody wants their portrait painted, I'm Natalie's agent. Just come up to me and we'll talk details. So, the last person I'd like to call on to make a few brief comments is Uncle Fred's daughter, my niece, Lisa George. So come on over here, Lisa.
I have been for everything with my father and him, and I make him happy. They are happy, beautiful, and talented, and sweet. And thank you. His wife was my mother, and I'm sorry that she's gone, but Joyce said, congratulations to my husband. He is the greatest supporter, and I support my father, and I love him to pieces.
Lisa, that was so beautiful.